96 Rock, everything that rocks. Foster and the Blade, and Foster with the lead singer of that band there, Soundgarden, the founder and frontman for Temple of the Dog, lead singer of Audio Slave, and his new solo album, Scream. A collaboration with producer Timbaland is due this fall, and he's brought some new stuff for us to hear. Please welcome Chris Cornell. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. I'm still clapping. It sounds like there's like a really psyched fan there. That's me.
Let's start with something that maybe not everybody knows about you. You're a Seattle guy now living in Paris, and your restaurant, Black Calavados. I'm curious, what's harder, running a rock band or running a restaurant?
That's a really good question, because neither one of those things is that easy. It's probably easier running a rock band, though. But I don't know, like most of my restaurant experience really was from 17 years old to like 22, when then I could finally like go out and just do music full time. And I still have dreams. It was so intense, because it's such an intense business. I still have dreams where I'm back on the cooking line with like the fire going, and I'm sweating, and I'm cooking, and I'm stressed out, and somewhere in there I'm thinking like, I don't have to do this, like, but I kind of want to. There was something about it that I always liked as well. It was like a good job for a starving artist, because I had no money, but like I worked with food all day, so I got to eat, and so it kind of stuck with me. Being in a rock band is hard because, and this is something that people don't talk about that much. A lot of fans of rock bands wonder, you know, why don't they like each other? Or why did they break up? Or what it really boils down to is when you're in a rock band. You're in a band with 3, 4, maybe 5 other people who have the ability to affect the one thing that is absolutely the most important thing to you in your life, and maybe ever will be, you know, like until you get married and have kids or something. And that creates a relationship with those other people that becomes something that's very sensitive that you have to deal with. And if you're like a rock musician, you've never learned how to have relationships like that. You don't know how to deal with that. And so often there's tension, like people wonder why rock bands go out on tour and then when they don't come home, or when they come home, why aren't they hanging out with each other? And it's like, because, you know, it's like, sometimes it's stressful and you don't want to say something that'll make the other guy mad, and you sort of learn how to coexist with these people that can affect what is so important to you, and you can affect what is so important to them. But the thing for fans to know is that that's sort of where the tension comes in. It's because they all love the band so much that they're afraid to do anything to mess it up.
Well, you formed Soundgarden, and everyone thinks of Soundgarden as a grunge band, one of the big 4 grunge bands, but really you formed in, was it 1984? Yeah. And, you know, on that same theme of what you were just talking about, was that the band that you were supposed to be with your entire career? Did you see that as the one without an end game?
I saw that as being, I never thought that it was a band that would never end. I thought of that as a possibility. I guess I'm pretty much a realist. I thought, you know, it could never end. But if it does, then after that, I will just be a solo artist. And that I was convinced of. And that changed with Audio Slave, which actually Temple of the Dog had a lot to do with. Because when I did Temple of the Dog, it was just kind of this quick moment when we had the time to be able to do it, and I had a whole bunch of songs that didn't necessarily fit with Soundgarden. And we ran in, we did it, and I knew my band Soundgarden was special, but I didn't know that anything that I would do outside of it was necessarily going to be special or well received. And that album turned out to be special and very well received. And when it came time to do my second solo album, it was after Euphoria Morning. I was done touring, and I was getting these phone calls from Tom Morello and Rick Rubin about possibly writing songs with them and maybe forming a new band. I just thought back about Temple and thought, you know, why I'm not going to say no to this, because I promised myself I would always be open to different collaborations. And you know, and I'm very proud of the music we made. I think we made 3 great albums. The 3rd one is my favorite, actually. And working with Timbaland is a very similar thing to me. It's a collaboration, really, more so than most producers, I think, because he's also, you know, a songwriter himself. He brings in a lot of musical ideas that other producers don't necessarily do. And it's also one of those things that would never be possible in my career as a guy in a band, but as a solo artist, I can do anything I want. And so this is kind of a statement too. Is this is what my solo career will be. Is it will be me doing things that people probably won't expect, but with what I think are really amazing results.
It's 96 Rock. We're talking to Chris Cornell. He's at Projekt Revolution tonight. I want to listen to some of that new stuff, and you brought some of it with you. And we're going to do that. The album comes out this fall. You mentioned Temple the Dog a moment ago. So let's play one song from Temple now. Let's come back, talk a little bit more, and then we're going to listen to your brand new song. Sound good?
Great.
All right. Chris Cornell, live to rock everything that rocks. Foster and the Blade.
No one's clapping.
And Foster joined now. Joined by, well, it's a very full 96 Rock studio, and we're honored to have the one and only Chris Cornell in the studio this afternoon, playing a Projekt Revolution. About 7:50 tonight, I believe, is the time of the set for you, right, Chris?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And about 12 songs set?
12. I think I've kind of managed 13 now. I squeezed it in there somehow. It's hard because I'm doing a couple new songs, and I try to cover a lot of territory. So I think I got 13 in there.
Did I see that you take text requests during your set? Is that right?
Yeah, we do what I have been referring to as the Verizon song, where you can text in your choice of one of 5 songs on a list. And those are all songs I probably wouldn't play doing a 1-hour set. They're sort of songs that are like deeper album tracks or older songs or whatever, and then whichever one wins, I play near the end of the set. And it's been kind of strange because it's been different almost every single night. I sort of figured it would be one song would sort of stand out as the favorite from city to city, but it hasn't been the case.
Solid plug for Verizon there, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So, Hunger Strike, we're listening to there, Temple the Dog, your friend Eddie Vedder on the song with you. Is it weird to look back and think about the big Seattle bands and the fact that only one is really still doing, I mean, Alice in Chains is reformed with a new lead singer, but, only Pearl Jam is really the still, is that, what does that feel like for you? Is that something that you ever saw happening?
For me it was I didn't have any expectations. The first thing I thought of when all of a sudden my band and a lot of bands that my friends are in are getting international attention, I got this feeling of it looks like everyone feels like it'll be like this forever. And just looking into not very far back into the history of rock music, it's clear like, okay, these kind of scenes never last forever. So my thought was, not really worrying about what happens other than just thinking about trying to write music that inspires me and be a musician and forget about like any connection or disconnection or what happens, but just focus on that.
Mm-hmm. Where were you and how did you find out that Kurt Cobain died?
I was actually in Paris on tour with Soundgarden, doing a tour with Tad opening up, the band Tad, so pretty much all of us knew him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a room with 12 people that were personal friends with him.
Surprised or not surprised?
Not 100%, because he had like an episode about 3 months earlier, which it was unclear what happened, but he had like been rushed to the hospital. I think it was in Spain, and people were saying that he had an intentional overdose. And it was speculation and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It wasn't the first person that I was friends with or a fan of that was brilliant that had died young for me. So it was a tragedy though, nonetheless, and one of those things where I don't even know to this day how to deal with it or talk about it in a way that I can't put a positive spin on it.
Yeah, no.
Because there isn't one. I guess I can laugh about it, but I can't put a positive spin on it. There's nothing good about it. I'm just glad that he was around long enough that people got to know who he was so they can listen to his music.
It's 96 Rock, and we're talking to Chris Cornell.